When you take raw chrome out of South Africa, I can guarantee you now, you are creating jobs where it is going to be processed.
Yeah.
Because it must be converted into steel. And that process, it's labor intensive. And that's why the Chinese take our chrome as is. So we take our raw material. If you take out a diamond, it has to be polished, it has to be cut, and it has to be processed into a finished goods, which we can do ourselves if we own our own minerals.
You're proposing 50% of the minerals to be beneficiated here in the country.
Absolutely.
By when? How soon do you think?
Well,
that will
in
be
less than
possible?
5 years. In Niger, they just made a decision. France, you are going to buy our product with a market price. It's no longer going to be discounted, and it's going to happen now. So you don't need anything. You need a political will, a determination. But the problem is that you've got a group of old men and women who are compromised from CODESA. We don't know what the Oppenheimer family discussed with them when they went into exile. They said to them, we are going to end apartheid. You are going to come back and rule South Africa, and it is going to be business as usual. Meaning you don't tamper with business. You can do those things of yours of politics. Where we are working, you won't do that. They agreed to it. We just know the issues that are above. We don't have the minute detail of what really transpired, because why would a person be scared to remove a statue of Kruger?
You really don't know? You were in the ANC, you really don't?
We raised it there. You see, the good thing with me is that you can never put it to me that you're saying it now. You can go back to my videos, and I like these social media guys. They go and
bring back the archives.
Old videos.
Yeah.
I raised everything I'm talking about now. I raised it in the ANC. In the conference where I was re-elected president of the Youth League 2011, all these issues I'm raising are official resolutions of the ANC Youth League. Nationalization of the Reserve Bank, nationalization of mines, establishment of state bank, free quality, decolonized education, all of that. I raised it in the ANC. You go to FNB and listen to me speaking, Zuma sitting at the back and everybody else at Johannesburg Stadium with President Mandela being there, me speaking. I raised all of these issues. I was not leading a political party. I was not asking for votes. I was just raising these matters as matters of principle. So the point I'm making is, if you have not been compromised, why would you be scared? Leave the economy and everything. A statue of a murderer. Every town in the whole of South Africa, small or big, has got a statue honoring apartheid generals. And Mugabe said, you can't tell me about South Africans are even scared to hit a statue of a white person. That's how much we are so compromised. So we need a new generation, which is not part of those commitments. We don't owe CODESA anything. We don't know what these guys discussed. They've had their 30 years to deliver on the product. We're a new generation with new challenges, and we cannot dare to CODESA minutes which we don't have.
Your point is exactly that you've been raising these things for over some time. You're not the only person. Many people have been asking these questions. We know that the private sector sits with billions that they don't want to spend. We know that this economy sits with only one kind of a people in this country, the minority, the white people, and that's not transforming. What are you going to do to get that to change?
Let's get our own capital. Let's generate our own capital. The white capital has kept liquid cash in the banks, and is refusing to invest it back into our economy because of pure racist reason, that they do not trust black men, and that they can't put their money in a country where they've got no guarantee. So rather liquid cash, because if anything happens, you just press transfer, but you can't transfer a building. You can't transfer an infrastructural development. So the rest will rather not entertain. I'm still to see very few white guys, maybe Carl Niels is one of them, who have no dual citizenship. Every white person that you know who's at that level, they've got South African passport and they've got a British passport or a German passport. Because they don't want. They are not here. They are here fiscally because they are milking us, but they are somewhere else. So we need to create our own money. That's why we must own the state bank. You know, civil servants, this bank must give them bonds. They don't qualify, many of them, to get bonds. A teacher who taught me geography 15 years ago bought a Corolla. It was so beautiful and new, and Toyota Corolla was so excited. Met him this year, still driving the same car because he cannot afford to get a car, despite the fact that he's a teacher. We grew up teachers being the most respected people. The bank is refusing to give him, with all the years in teaching as a civil servant and all of that, he doesn't qualify for a new latest version of Corolla. This state bank must come in. They say, where are you going to get the money, because you need 250 million as a guarantee? Then I said to them, no, Reserve Bank owns shares in African Bank. Why does the regulator get involved in the banks? The Reserve Bank must pull out. We take that money, that is our share, and then we build our own state-owned bank, or we put more money and buy everybody out and we buy Nedbank. He raised a very important point. We don't manufacture a car, but we manufacture a fighter jet. How can we make the machines to fly and be unable to produce machines that are mobile on the road? It's a deliberate decision, and it is those, every time a president travels, you see him sitting here and the other president sitting here, they sign some documents there. That's where they are signing that, no, you won't do those things of cars. We are going to send German cars to you. And because you want to create jobs, you will assemble them there. You don't have to produce. So we are assembling German vehicles in South Africa. So we have no reason not to produce a car. Denel, if it can produce a fighter jet, a car is nothing. It needs a political will. We transport people back. We bring people into our stadiums and then we transport them back because, firstly, they are people. They have to be treated with respect. When the elderly gets into an EFF bus, the young ones must stand up and give the old ones the seat. Even the same in the stadiums, they're given preference. And outside the stadium, we create a tent called Lost and Found, where items are sent and people who miss their transport also go there. It's a rule in the EFF that the Secretary General doesn't leave the stadium until the last person has left. So they all go to the Lost and Found. There is what we call venue operating center. There are cameras everywhere. They check everybody. They're like, it's clear. Then we establish a taxi rank of not less than 100 taxis on site, which deals with Lost and Found and people who miss their transport. We take them from the stadium straight into their homes, and the instruction is very clear to the drivers. If it's a female, you must make sure that she's safe. And he says, how do I know he's safe? We say, once the light goes on, you know she's inside the house, then you can drive. That's how much we treat our supporters and members with respect. And it pains me that a 10-year organization can do that. An organization with more than a century still can't master the simplest thing as transporting people because they treat them as voting cattle.
Yeah. So you are an experienced politician. This is not new to you. You know, manifestos are what we call wish lists. People come here and promise us the earth. They tell us heaven is coming. So some of us don't believe it. But I don't expect the EFF to show us the numbers that you've put here in your manifesto without having done some scenario planning. So I'm curious what scenarios you're playing with when you can offer that a domestic worker will get about, you speak of different minimum wages. An example is a domestic worker, 6,000 rand, and many, many others. What's your model? What are you playing with here?
Well, we have to look at what are the conditions of our domestic workers. They make us to be what we are, but they are not properly paid. And you look at the farm workers. Without them, we can't eat the food we're eating. And the farmers become more rich and they exploit the workers. So what we look at is what could be a reasonable figure. And that is not like the maximum. That minimum wage means